So let's talk about two things I really don't like about the new Tesla. What I've got behind me here is a Tesla Model 3. It is a 2024. It is the rear-wheel drive only version, so the lower trim level, I guess. My only regret there is I didn't wait for the faster version that came out. The performance, not a big deal. It would have given me another second or two or three as far as 0 to 60 time, but believe me, this thing is plenty fast enough. Real quick, before we get into the two things I really don't like, I recently did a little mod. I removed the wheel caps, something that I guess a lot of people probably do with the car. This is what the wheels look like underneath those covers, which I think are pretty darn good. I did put some center caps and some lug nut caps on, or rather a center cap and some lug nut covers. It looks pretty darn good to me. Much better than those aero covers, I guess, that were on. Now, as far as fuel economy goes, will I lose any range in doing that? Probably, if I were to drive a lot on the freeways at higher speeds, you know, to reduce drag and all that stuff is what those covers do. I don't. It's used as mostly a local daily driver. So for me, I don't expect to really notice any difference. But let's get to the two things that I don't like. First, we're going to talk about one that I've mentioned before. I keep getting comments on the channel, rather, trying to justify this, and that is charging. Not being able to take the car on long distance trips. You know, for me, when I go on a long distance trip, I recently took a trip to Ohio and back from deep South Texas. It was about 25 hours, I think, in the end. I don't want to stop and have to wait to charge. Obviously, I have to stop with a dyno vehicle to get gasoline, but that takes no more than 5-10 minutes maybe. Now, the big justification from a lot of folks out there is, well, it's okay if you have to stop and wait to charge 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, because you can get out, stretch your legs, use the bathroom, maybe have a sit-down meal, get something to eat. Now, if you're sightseeing, traveling at leisure, I suppose that's okay. But when I'm traveling long distance and I'm trying to get to the next point, I don't want to add a couple hours, maybe more to the trip in the case of a 20 to 25 hour trip, because I have to sit and wait for the vehicle to charge. By the way, those times are also dependent upon how available the chargers are. You know, there may be other people sitting there charging when you pull up. That means you're going to have to sit and wait while they charge before you can charge. So it could be even longer. Just not for me. When I take long distance trips, it's always going to be a gas-powered vehicle, unless there's some major jump, I guess, in range, and you don't have to sit and wait many times to charge the vehicle. Now, the other thing, and this is inside the car, the second thing that I really do dislike, might even be starting to develop a little bit of hate for it, I think, is the turn signal setup. Of course, what Tesla did, everything that they have in here is on the steering wheel, right? Everything that you need while you're driving. You saw I just turned the volume down on the radio. That's handy. I like that. We have windshield wipers, which takes a little bit of getting used to over here as well. It does have rain sensing on it, so they do kick on, and the times I've been in the rain, which are few because we don't get any rain down here, they seem to work pretty well. But what I'm talking about are the turn signals. We have no stalks on the steering wheel, right? Nothing to push or pull or move around. No levers. They're on the steering wheel. You push them in, they activate, and they work pretty good. But you have to kind of take your eyes off the road. At least I do. I haven't gotten to the point, maybe it's just me, where when I'm driving down the road, I can just kind of feel and know which one to hit. Top one is right, bottom one is left. The other thing that I've experienced in driving down the road is sometimes if the lines aren't well defined on the road, or if you just take a little bit of a jog, maybe you're kind of veering off, going at a fork or something, you hit the turn signals, you get where you're going to go, and they don't shut off. So I have to take my eyes off the road again to look down. Now, that's me. I will say that when that happens, you can push either button and it will deactivate the turn signal that's flashing. So maybe you don't really have to look. In that case, I suppose you probably could, as you were looking straight ahead, just kind of feel over here on the left and hit either one of them and it would turn the turn signal off. I think it was a mistake to go with this setup on the car. I think the car, other than the range thing, which granted, you know about range when you buy it, so that's not really a fault of the car. It is what it is. The turn signal thing, I think Tesla needs to go back to a stock, at least one. You don't really need one for anything else, but a stock on the left side as a traditional way, I guess, to operate the turn signals. I mean, I suppose there's some other things they could do. I've often thought, why isn't it voice activated? You know, I could simply say Tesla left, Tesla right, Tesla turn signal off, something like that when I'm driving. That would be more convenient to me as opposed to having these buttons. I'm not sure why they haven't done that, other than if someone's in the car with you and you're having a conversation and you interrupt them because you want to turn, so they're going on about whatever they're talking about, and you all of a sudden blurt out, Tesla left. Yeah, it would be a little bit awkward. So I don't know that they're really going to do that, but I do think it would be more handy than having the turn signals the way that they are. By the way, you heard the noise outside. I'm sure they're mowing. Listen to how quiet it is. That noise is still going on outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is so quiet in here. Another thing I really love about the car. So anyway, those two things, range and these turn signals. I really hope that for the next one I get, which will be way down the road, that Tesla does go back to some kind of a stock over here. You know, recently on that trip I was talking about that I took to Ohio, I drove a traditional car, a Honda Civic, for about 2.5 months. And that really cemented it for me that I miss having the stock over there, and it's something that Tesla really ought to put back into the car. One other thing I want to mention that I love in this car, I don't want to make this video all about dislike, is the center screen area here. This thing is awesome, very responsive. I was worried that after a while it might lose some of its responsiveness. Screens do that, it seems, occasionally. Not true in the Tesla. Everything is spot on. You touch where you want. It activates everything that you need it to activate quickly. There's no lag. There's no pause. I really love the setup that they have for that. They did an awesome job in creating this screen. Leave a comment. Let me know if you agree about this turn signal thing. Is it something that you think you'd get used to and I'm just being too picky? Or do you agree Tesla ought to go back to a lever over there for turn signals? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.